Podcast City Network.
And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell podcast. And tonight we're going to have Risa Pappas, and we're going to be talking to her. She is a professional Rebel pro wrestling announcer, and she's been seen this past couple weeks back at WSU, and we're going to talk to her and see what's going on in the world of wrestling and much, much more. Let's talk to her right now, fans. Tune in right now. Hello.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Good, and welcome to the show. It's a Monday night. Monday Night Raw is going on right now this pretty soon. I don't know. Now, I guess.
Yeah, I never really remember that anymore, and I tend to just get highlights. I've been very bad about
you know what, I'm not a big, I'll watch it, but I don't, I'll read notes. I'll be one of those persons that reads results. I kind of catch whatever I can, catch the clips here and there, I'm not fully addicted to it now like I used to be.
Yeah, I think that's probably true for a lot of people. I am going to WrestleMania, though, because it's only up in North Jersey.
Oh, my God. You know what? This is the first time in years I'm going to, skip. My friends want me to go. Everybody wants me to go, but I totally forgot to grab tickets, and I'm just like, you know what? There's so much other wrestling that I'm going to be watching, and I want to watch a lot of the independent wrestling on FightTV.com.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There's a lot of independent wrestling.
It is gonna be off the wall from like top notch wrestling companies. 11 or 12 companies coming in, and it's insane. It's like even I believe CZW is also doing their WSU pro pro wrestling. I think they're doing a show too, aren't they? They are doing Wrestle Pro, I think. Also, there's a lot of stuff going on. I can't keep track.
Right, that's, they're doing I know on April 13th they're doing Best of the Best 18.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I will not miss that. I'll be there for that. I hope you'll be in attendance for that.
I'm not sure, actually. I gotta go through, because I gotta figure out where I am on that day.
Oh, really?
But they are doing,
yes.
Wrestle Pro versus CZW in Rahway. That's April 6th.
Yeah. That's supposed to be good. So it's going to be interesting. That's a good card, and they're fully set, and, it's like the best of the best is like the best of the best. It's going to be awesome. For fans that don't know, I've been to a lot of the best of the bests in the past. Not way back in the day, but I've seen a lot of them, and they really have progressed over the years, and this year's going to be an awesome one. It's the first time seeing Sammy Guevara live in action from AAA, AAW, and AEW representative now,
Are they, but they're not doing any actual shows right now, right? That's going to be a while.
Yeah, the AEW, yeah. I wish it was now.
Yeah.
I wish it was like if they were the smart ones, they would have planned it for WrestleMania weekend, But
yeah, but you know what, though? I kind of appreciate that they're not, because all of these other organizations, they're doing all these shows around WrestleMania, and AEW says, no, we're not going to plan our event around somebody else's event. WWE has had such a huge influence on the industry for so long. That's like good for them for disrupting the way things normally go.
Absolutely.
Like, why should WWE get to dictate the calendar of events?
Yeah, and I don't like how they like the commission laws and whatever. Oh, you can't use chairs. You can't do this. You can't do that. Yada yada yada. Oh, and they want to ban all wrestling from Tampa, Florida. Did you see that rumor? What is that? That's like, come on, really? That's gonna.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, there was if you go back and like read the they had that big article saying like they don't want any of this AEW or any independent wrestling to perform during WrestleMania weekend in Tampa. Like, why would they? Unreal. It's just
Tampa, where no one will be because everyone will be in North Jersey.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, solidly, busy. Are you going to be attending a lot of those shows too, as well? Hopefully.
I'm not sure yet what I'm going to be doing. There's so many shows to go to. I have to kind of really prioritize. I mean, which is absolutely a good problem to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not as though I'm going up there and it's like, oh, there's nothing to do until WrestleMania. Like, there's so much to do. There's so many shows.
There is. I mean, pancakes for pile drivers, this and that, and it's like so many cool, funny shows. Some cool shows. A lot of cool shows. A lot of even Orange Cassidy threw his own card out there. That's funny. That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard about him. I saw him years ago at Chikara. That was my first exposure to Orange Cassidy, and he's a very unique character. He is so hard to do in wrestling.
He's got a good character, and he's got it. He's that. If AEW was pretty smart, they would book him. Like, he's one of those guys that would be perfect.
He's definitely not for everybody, though.
No,
he's not.
No.
Like, if you are one of those promotions that takes your brand super serious, and you want to make sure that everybody comes expecting that battle lines will be drawn and like high drama and things like that, then you bring in somebody like Orange Cassidy, he's going to completely disrupt your whole thing. So
yeah,
I get the people who don't want to use him, but at the same time, I mean, I think he's super refreshing.
He is. He's like the Colt Cabana of the future, like I'll say it, right? Like, almost. Like, he's just hysterical. He's just great. Every time he gets in the ring and he puts his hands in his pockets and just does the clothesline, it's like, improv. It's great. It's just funny the way he does it, And
I think that there are a ton of wrestlers out there who are trying to be some variation of Stone Cold, right? Where they come out and they're badass and they have a catchphrase and they do a signature move and that's their thing. And I mean, I get it, because a lot of what drives people to start wrestling is like, they want to be more badass and they want to get ripped, and like, that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a big silly thing that everybody agrees to participate in, and so the crowd wants to have fun while they're there. It doesn't have to just be badass after badass. Like, break it up a little bit. Have some guys that are out there trying to make a joke out of things.
Absolutely. It's like Joey Ryan. Come on, that's so funny. He's always been funny, Like, come on. If he
comedy performers, they're much more brave than regular performers, like, who play it straight. The comedy guys have to go out there and actually make you think they're funny, instead of you as the audience deciding that they're funny for the wrong reasons, and that's hard to do.
Absolutely. But it's going to be nuts. It's just crazy. It's going to be a good weekend for a lot of people, and as well as yourself, So it's going to be awesome.
It's like the Christmas of wrestling, pretty much.
It really is. It is. And I'm just going to be sitting home on my couch, just watching my phone.
You gotta find like a viewing party or something. I know that there are a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to spend $400-$500 to get tickets to this thing, but I'll sure go to my buddy's house and have barbecue or whatever.
I'll just have some beers on the couch and that's it. I don't care. I don't need anything else, It'll be quiet. I'd rather enjoy my own, because if my friend wants to call me and bullshit on the phone, I'll do that with them, during WrestleMania too. I might even flip it on. I'm debating, like, there's so much good wrestling, but I want to watch all the good wrestling that's coming up,
I'm just excited that this is the very first WrestleMania that the headliners are a women's match. I don't necessarily like the
Yeah.
road that they took to get to the way that they finalized the match was kind of kooky.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing hotter in wrestling right now than Becky Lynch. So,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
100%.
it would have been a missed opportunity.
100%. She 100%. She's not one of those people that people don't look and say, yeah, she's one of those girls, but she can go. She's a wrestler, you know. And then all the stuff that comes online, publicity, you know, all the news lines and this and that, you know, all the drama that usually happens, you know.
I'm just glad that WWE is catching up with the rest of what independent wrestling has been doing forever, which is actually valuing women performers.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'll take it better late than never.
Yeah, and also, and you know what, and WrestleMania, man, I'm just thinking about it. NXT is doing their show too. I think they're gonna have a show. NXT that, and people don't realize that those are the people who are those are the talents that we know and we've seen, and like around the areas of wrestling, like they're starting their careers. You know, good place to start. You know, and they have a bright future ahead of them. Even if they don't.
For a while, I was watching NXT with much more regularity than I was watching Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because before they did that brand split, there was a period of time where I felt like every show was the same. Nothing was really progressing. They were just trying to like eke all the storylines out as much as possible so they could just shove all the exposition into the pay-per-views. And like that's not the way to do something. That if you're running a brand year round, if you're putting on 2 shows a week, 52 weeks a year, you can't just shove everything into a pay-per-view and make that seem like the only thing that matters, because otherwise why are people watching during the week? So I paid a lot more attention to NXT.
Yeah.
And when they did the UK tournament, oh, that was amazing.
That stuff was awesome.
Wonderful.
That stuff's awesome. I mean, look at the talent they have. They got people that are blowing people by smoke. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like just people, you know, and the 205 lot, you know, 205. That's always awesome too to watch. You know, that always gets my eye when you see like Drew Gulak all the time. You know, it's great to see him every time. You know, you're like, hey, I know that guy. I've seen that, you know, like
he's our guy.
He's the guy. He's one of the best I think in wrestling, and funny guy too. You know, like people don't take that part of him. You know.
It's a vast improvement having really good talent at 205 Live as opposed to having like Enzo Amore in 205 Live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that WWE doesn't know how to properly handle 205 Live. I think that they created them and didn't follow through properly, so that's really unfortunate. But it shouldn't reflect at all on the performers, because the caliber of performance that they're getting from these guys is insane.
So anyway, let's start our topics here. I got a lot to go over with you. I mean, we started off, that was pretty good, huh? Just I like that. We just randomly talked about WrestleMania, so we blew that off the water. You know? Check. What was it like growing up in whatever, Philadelphia, wherever you're from? How's that?
I'm kind of from. I've lived in pretty like most counties in the state of New Jersey. I've just kind of moved around a ton, but I never like permanently moved out of Jersey. I did live in New Hope, Pennsylvania for a time.
Yeah.
Like that was as out of state as I really got. But I've been all over. I lived in northern New Jersey for a number of years. I moved up there for college and stayed up there for a long time.
Cool.
So I'm very familiar with that whole area.
Me?
I'm familiar with the traffic that happens around MetLife Stadium, so I'm already pretty prepared.
Yeah, just get there at a good time. That's all, you know. Get there at a good time, they always say, right? Gotta get there early. You want to be there before all the crowd starts. You know, it's just be patient and wait, right? It's like, I mean, I remember going to WrestleMania 5 with my dad, and I was like, okay, this is a large crowd, you know? I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this big crowd. And, you know, but now it's like, okay, 2,000 million trillion people will be there, you know? So,
I actually went to New Orleans for WrestleMania last year because
Yeah.
they don't announce in advance where it's going to be. If I'd have known that there was going to be WrestleMania the following year up in our area, I might have thought twice about going to New Orleans. Ended up being a really great trip, though.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of good drinking too. A lot of good fun. That's all. It's always.
Oh my God! I mean,
yeah.
Bourbon Street.
Yes.
Bourbon Street is one of the crazier places that I've ever been to. Just for like the sheer amount of drunk people, they're like zombies. It's like it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Why are you still walking around drinking a Hurricane? It's crazy.
Yeah, having a Miller.
Oh my God! Who are these people and where does their energy come from?
I don't know. But like when we were younger, starting out going to our bar scene, it's like, okay, here 21, we're going into the bar. Okay, now we have the energy to dance, do this, and now it's like we slow down. It's like no time for this anymore. Time slows down. When you get older.
It's definitely a different.
But you can still party your ass off.
Different trip for me to take.
But
it could have been it would have been a very different trip if I went down when I originally I was supposed to go down there like when I was 20 or something. I forget when it was.
Yeah.
And we scheduled our trip and then Hurricane Katrina happened.
Oh jeez.
So it was like, well, okay, so we kind of canceled that trip and I never got around to going back there. And then when it was WrestleMania, I was like, I'm not gonna not go.
Yeah, and I'm not beating a hurricane this time around. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing, though. Yeah, those days. But it's gonna be a big party, though, this year. Jeez, everywhere. Everywhere.
Yep.
But
yeah, North Jersey I was in for a while, but generally speaking, like I've been to New York. It's a cool place, but like when I think of the city for me is Philly, and it always will be.
Yeah, I'm actually. Funny thing is, I was born in North Dakota. How about that? And I'm from Jersey.
Up around these parts.
Yeah, I don't know. My dad was in the Vietnam, so he did a lot of traveling, and my mom's from out west, so we moved out here, 33 years now, almost 32, 33, about the shore, Jersey Shore. I'm like dead smack in the middle between the beach fronts of Point Pleasant Beach and Seaside. My town is like smack in the middle.
I gotcha.
I'm smack in the middle of town. Brick Township.
Brick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I shot a short film in Brick.
Did you?
It was a good town, yeah.
Did you? What was there? What was that? If you remember.
It was a short film about like the legend of the Cthulhu monster.
Mm-hmm.
And so we shot it. We like rented a boat that was docked in Brick, and we had to go. We went down around town and whatever. And then we went into, and then we just shot a bunch of interiors in this boat, like for a full day.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, Brick. They've done actually. I remember. I'm a garbage man, and actually they did a movie. It was called. Bricktown. It was called Bricktown the movie, right? And they called me up. I got lucky to be on the set, like to hang out, like on the back of the truck, garbage truck, like 5 minutes in the movie, It was really cool.
That's awesome.
It is cool.
There's so many movies constantly. Nobody understands because everybody thinks about like, oh, New York and film, and it's like, no. It's in Jersey.
It's everywhere.
That's where the majority of filming is taking place. There are people who are in New York and they go, okay, well, we need to go shoot in the suburbs. They go to Jersey. So,
Yeah, and I mean, they just did it. I think they did. And recently, over the summer, down the street from me, I was watching. I was on the back of the garbage truck. They're filming a movie. A real movie was being filmed about a boxer. I don't know. And so it was really neat. One of the famous boxers in the area. So I was like, hey, that's my neighbor's house. I'm like, really? I should have been in the movie. I could have.
Oh man, now I'm trying to think of who a famous boxer from Brick is.
No,
I don't have,
nobody from Brick. It was like a famous boxer. Like he's always on like I can't think of the movie. Valentine. I'll Google it later. How's that? I'll find it. I'll do my research later. But yeah, it was neat though. Like it's like you don't get to see that. You're like, okay, they're filming here. Cool. What's going on?
That's how I actually got into ring announcing was through making film.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
I basically made a short film and I had only relatively gotten into wrestling, and so I wrote a wrestling scene into the film just so I could, have an excuse to have wrestling, because I loved it. I was so all about it at the time that I was like, I need to figure out a way to like wiggle this in here somehow. And so I wrote a scene, and I needed to hire wrestlers. I like a friend of a friend hooked me up with a Fed, and I basically like rented a ring and two wrestlers, and they showed up and they were great. And after that, they were going to be in the town where I lived. And I was like, do you happen to have a ring announcer? Because if not, you should totally let me do that. I'm like 5 minutes away. I'll come down and do it. And for whatever reason, they said yes, and that's how I got my start.
Oh, that's awesome. I have a friend of mine. He does. He's a podcaster too, and they actually, him and his friend used to be belong to a Florida wrestling company, like a wrestling out in Florida, and their clips are funny as hell. They have this one guy called Menace, and he's a guy with a mask, and then they have a friend who's looks exactly like Cheek the Snake Roberts. It's like, it was funny. I'll have to send you the footage of that. It's really cool. It's something like they do on the side. It's great. Like they do like table spots. It's great. My friends are getting thrown through tables. It's just like yeah. I'll send that to you later. It's something funny. But yeah. But anyway, let's so ring announce. We got that out of the way. Okay. Check. No. Who were the first participants of your first match that you've announced?
I don't actually remember who did the first match. I did the first show that I ever did. The tie-in was that the two characters that I put in the short film would have like a rematch, like, because they have a match in my short film, and so they had a rematch in at that show, and that was kind of the tie-in for having me be the announcer of the event. So it was a character named Ultimo Tiger, who I don't know where, not like there's like a couple, there's multiple Ultimo Tigers.
Yes.
So I think that we ended up having to he ended up changing his name.
Right.
I can't remember what his name was at the show, but in my short film, that was the character's name, was Ultimo Tiger. Definitely not like the Mexican.
No.
Like not the official one.
No. No.
And then the other one was this guy, Delmonico the Destroyer. And so he was like the big scary monster guy, and Ultimo has to go and defeat him to avenge the honor of his brother in the short film. And so they had kind of a rematch at the actual show, and that was like the reason I was there, was to do that. And it was I was up in Totowa. That was FWF, which is Rob Fury's promotion. So he put that whole thing together, and it was a blast, man. Like, for my first time doing a show, and I came out, and I'm like walking down the ramp, and I'm wearing heels, which I hardly ever wear. Yeah. And there was somebody had their purse or like a bag or something on the floor, and so I stepped on it and immediately fell on my ass. Like, first thing. Boom. Very first. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure. I think I have it on video somewhere because it was hilarious. Oh. And so I immediately boom, and I go down. But I got up almost immediately, and I was like, I'm okay, and I just kept going. Yeah, you have to. What? Yeah. I can never do worse than I just did right now, and it's already over. The worst is now over. It's going to be better. It can only be better from here. Yeah. Yes. So, yeah. The first. Yeah. There's always a screw up eventually, and so it was a blessing to get it out of the way quickly.
Who do you feel is pound for pound in these days the best of the best announcers of the game today? Like, who do you think? I mean,
it's not necessarily a wrestling person, but Bruce Buffer is.
Oh my God, that guy's awesome. He is like
he wears like $4,000 jackets. Yes, I looked them up. I will never be able to afford one.
My friend actually my friend has a video. He announced he actually had him on his podcast. Isn't that cool? That's like, it's amazing. Like, my friend got to meet him. I was like, this is cool as hell. I'm jealous, you know?
I love Bruce Buffer. He's just this tiny little ball of energy, and he's got like the hairline and the jacket. Like, he looks kind of like the Muppet Dracula from Sesame Street.
Yes.
The Count.
Yes.
He's not Dracula. He's the Count. He looks like the Count from Sesame Street. He's this tiny little man, and he's got like this weird like voice that like this put on it is, oh, ladies and gentlemen. Like, he gets so into it. He's one of the most intense people I've ever seen in my life, and he's so small that he just has to scream, and he's so pumped. Like, you cannot not be pumped for a match when Bruce Buffer is announcing it, and he like jumps in the air and stuff. Like, he's, in my mind, in terms of announcers, like of all time, maybe he's not like the best ever, but like, working today, he is top notch. Like, he's the standard. So if I can get anywhere close to his intensity, then I feel like I've done my job.
Also, you know who's really good is Larry Legend, the one and only. He's really good. I always loved his work.
Is he still working?
Yes, he is. He's still doing his thing. Larry's still doing boxing and Muay Thai, and he does a lot of the independent shows still, Game Changer and other federations and this and that. And CZW, yes, you know, he'll be at Best of the Best. I was like, you better be there, Larry. You know?
In terms of everybody else working right now, I mean,
there's so many.
The locals, like, David Adams is one.
Oh, he's awesome. He's one of those guys.
He's a super sweetheart. Like, anytime I don't have somebody's information and I'm scrambling, I know David Adams has it, and he will. He's very willing to like share information. Just an overall really awesome guy. And Mark Haggerty. What a story, man. Like, meteoric rise for that guy. I mean, I'm so inspired by him, man. He's wonderful. So, I mean, this is the thing, like, it's all good right now.
Yeah.
You know, you need talent, you need good ring announcing. Like, we're out here, man. You got great options.
And look at that, you're on a podcast too. Come on. You're getting your name out there. So that's like, yes, people are listening. And this is live, this is live, by the way, so, you know, everybody's listening.
I love this. This feels like a call-in radio show right now. It's wonderful.
It is. Everybody call in. No, don't call in. We don't want calls. Then we ruin the conversation, you know. But yeah, it's amazing. Like, you guys, you put your heart and soul into what you do, you know, and that's what it's all about too.
And power to the both of them for the hustle, because these guys are everywhere.
No, I'm talking about you too. I am talking about you too. This is
no, I know, but I function much more I'm much more of like a word of mouth person. Like, I don't, because I have a ton of other things that I do. Like, I'm very like multi-dimensional in my business endeavors and everything.
Yes.
Like, this is one of my many hustles, and so I'm not necessarily out there like going crazy trying to get on every single show that's available. Whereas, you know, these guys are like, you know, all over the United States, and it's like, power to you. I'm not necessarily trying to do that.
No,
but
you're just out there to have fun and do it, because it's what it's all about. Passion, you know, it's all about fun, having fun and enjoying what you do.
Yeah, all of the exposure that I've gotten and all of the organizations that I've been blessed enough to work for, that's pretty much all been word of mouth. Like, people see me, they dig what I'm about. I don't think that my style is necessarily for everyone.
I think I'll tell you what, the WSU crowd had you. They had you. That was like a big launch right there. So, you know what? From this day forward, it's gonna be more fun. You know what I mean?
Hey, they were, that was a great crowd, and that was a really great show to be a part of. I mean, I've turned down all women's shows before because I didn't like the way that they were being positioned. I didn't like the way that they were being handled, and I'm like, I don't know that I could really be contributing anything here because I don't think that it really jives with what I'm all about.
Yeah.
But WSU, like, it was a very last minute connection that was made, and so I showed up and kind of just got right into it, and they were amazing. They were really great.
We had some crazy chants. We had some crazy chants in the crowd. You know, we're just big goofballs and having fun. You know. Just like a guy next to me said something, I forget what he said all night long, I couldn't remember, but, you know, But it was crazy. It was crazy. My dad enjoyed that too. He really had fun that night. Hopefully, I'm going to try to push for that next show. I'm going to try to get myself to that one. I'd like to go again.
Yeah. We have let me see how many shows. In terms of WSU, we have 2 shows back to back, April 26th and April 27th, which is pretty ambitious. So I'm looking forward to both of those shows. Like that's going to be a lot of fun. If this first one was any indication, it's going to be so much better from here on out. Like it's only going to go up.
That show was really intense. Like those couple of those matches really were like fire. That last match, the main event, was that was awesome. Those girls went at it, and I was like, wow. I'm sure you were like, this was the best match of the night.
I kind of told them because the match. So the match before them was also pretty dang amazing. And so let's see who was in that match. That was Layla Hirsch.
Yes.
And Brittany Blake.
Yes.
They were so awesome that I was like, oh man, the main event.
Yeah.
You got to top that now. Like when the matches get progressively better and crazier.
Yeah. It's the way it is.
It really sets by the time you get to that main event, it sets the bar so high. And to their credit, Savannah Stone and Chris Statlander, they killed it. I mean, they were, I'm sitting back there with the sound guy and the bell ringer guy and a couple other people, and we're just screaming, just as as if we were just regular fans attending the show. Like we were enjoying it. And a lot of times, people are coming to me and asking me questions, and I got paperwork kind of stuff to do, and I'm keeping track of things, and I'm keeping time, and so it's as much as I love wrestling, in my function as a ring announcer, I don't necessarily get to enjoy the show as much as a fan does because I'm doing stuff the whole time. But for that match, everybody stopped, everybody was on their feet, everyone was screaming, and that's when you can get enough of a vibe going in that venue that all of the people who should be working are not working. You've done your job. Yeah,
they were all behind a curtain over there. I saw them leaning over the wall watching. I'm like, this is awesome. Everybody's watching this. This was that match of the night. I can't wait to watch it again, and I'm gonna have to buy that DVD. It was so good, It was just so good. I'm gonna have to purchase that at the Best of the Best and watch it. I haven't bought DVDs in quite a while. Everything's all digital.
Is their turnaround time that fast? I'd be pleasantly surprised.
I hope so.
They have it ready for Best of the Best.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. I never worked for CZW before, and I'd only ever been to one CZW show forever ago.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know what to expect. I know DJ Hyde.
DJ's awesome. Yep, times. Great guy. Great.
Yeah, but I didn't really know what I was walking into when I got into WSU. So I was like, oh man, I'm cautiously optimistic here, and it totally blew me away.
Yeah. Their product is something, and and I'm like what they're doing. This is a really cool. WSU is now launching something a different style of it, and its aspect of it, and people need to realize that this is going to be women's wrestling of the future now, and this is going to be cool steps the way it should be run now,
I just love being able to go there and see the talent that are up and coming, and you can kind of spot people who you're like, wow, in 5 years they're going to be at in Ring of Honor, or they're going to be on NXT.
They're going to be on
whatever,
Shimmer.
Yeah.
They're going to be on WOW, W or whatever, one of those top notch companies, women's companies. It's
or any company with a women's division, because I just want to see more women wrestlers everywhere. The one thing about really small promotions, and it's not their fault, it's just kind of the nature of how things work. It's people don't initially know what to make of a women's match, and so if you're a smaller promotion and you only put on one women's match per show, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb and be kind of weird. If you put 2 or 3 matches on a card per show that are women's matches, it makes it so much more easy for people to make that connection. Oh yeah, this is just like a regular wrestling match. Because if it's just that one match, then it feels like a novelty. But if there's a couple of them, then it feels like, oh yeah, this is a part of the show. This isn't like in spite of the show. This is part of the show.
Yeah, and we're getting our money's worth as people, wrestling fans, and everybody. Just watching the product, and something that women wrestling needs to be noticed, and it really has to be noticed. It's really hasn't been. Sometimes it goes stale, like dies down. Sometimes in the business, you have to like pick it back up, and people have to think, what do I watch tonight? Let me go out for the night. Let me go see something different. Go see some.
And I think that wrestling fans are getting smarter,
Yeah.
and as we're all becoming more aware that there are options, or that there could be options, other organizations are kind of rising up to fill in those gaps. So you have a lot of kind of niche wrestling that didn't exist 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and now it's kind of like the rise of the specialty wrestling. So you have organizations that maybe don't put on a ton of shows a year, but they'll put on like 4 or 5 really awesome shows, because that's all they want to do is put on the best possible shows according to what their tastes are.
Yeah.
And they'll build up an audience of people who really care about that stuff, and they'll wait around for X amount of months until the next show.
Yeah, not these people, not like the guys of the people on the internet, the schmarks and all this and that, and whatever. That's always, but they don't know, because they don't go to shows. Sometimes they're just sitting behind a computer. Also.
Well, there's a lot of people who just do a lot of sitting behind the computer.
Yeah.
And now that your computer is in your phone, it's really easy to kind of sit around and talk crap on people. And
yes.
As much as, like, it feels good in the moment to get, like, righteously indignant about something or other,
right.
or judge somebody else. But, like, at the end of the day, when you go to a show, overwhelmingly people tend to be positive. Like, I've never gotten into a kerfuffle with somebody at a show. Every time I meet people at a show, they're like the nicest people ever. But then some of those same people, I get home and I check my messages, and people say like crazy things to me, and I'm just like,
really?
Where's this coming from?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, some people are like, oh, I don't like how this was. This match was like this, and they should hire somebody else to do this and that, and blah 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 blah.
I mean, every once in a while,
yeah.
And because I go in the locker room and I know how these guys are going over their matches, and they're coming up with all kinds of different things, and they're working it out, how they're going to put on the best match for you, because that's what they're there to do. Like, that's their job, is to put on a really great match for you as a person in the audience. So when it's doubly offensive to me when I see people talking a bunch of crap on people's performance just because, no matter what your best intentions as a performer are, it's live. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if that person is going to pull off they're going to do the springboard and it's going to work, or if they're going to land in the wrong spot or misjudge something.
Absolutely.
And people can get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that goes into it that when people go home and they go like, "Oh, that match sucked," it's like, buddy, you don't know how much work went into that match that you think sucked. I mean, give them A for effort, because at least they came out there and they tried for you. Like, that's what they're doing. They're trying to do all of this to entertain you, because otherwise it would just be a bunch of guys sitting around trying to impress each other, and that gets boring pretty quickly for wrestlers. So they need you. They need the audience, and you need to be entertained. Like, it doesn't have to be a toxic relationship.
No.
It should be a pretty great one.
No. I mean, after this, we're like friends. Like, I was like, this is awesome. Friendships become, after these, shows, we're like friends, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's really a cool thing forever, and I like that about wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I met you, and I was like, hey, want to come on my podcast? And after this, we'll be friends. It's like awesome, because we like wrestling, and it's great to support all wrestling.
It brings people together, and I think that it's a lot easier when you have another person standing in front of you in person, that you can say, you automatically, when you're faced with another live human being, you're trying to find commonalities. Like, you're trying to find reasons to like each other, because you know that you already share a common purpose, because that's why you're there. But when people go home and they're just sitting there by themselves on the internet, they get lonely and they get angry and whatever, they decide to take it out on other people. And it's like, these are your friends. You all got something in common. I mean, I think that there's a lot more that brings all of us together
Yeah.
than things that differentiate us. And so if we kind of focused on all the things that we just kind of take for granted that we all agree on and kind of celebrate those things, I think we would all kind of be a lot better off and less crabby.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let me get into this. What was this? Do the entrance do any of the entrance themes of the wrestlers you've announced excite you? Of their names.
Oh, I love it when I'm working on a show where I don't know many of the performers in advance because I don't know their music.
Yeah.
And then I get to be pleasantly surprised. Like the WSU show when Ava Everett came out to the theme from All That from Nickelodeon.
Yes, that was a pop moment. That was like a classic throwback. We were like, yes, you know.
I mean, that was hilarious. But like, people come out to certain music, and like, I have to fight to stand still and not dance. Because I love music. So anytime that somebody's putting on a good beat, I'm like, I gotta stay still.
You got it, yeah,
but,
yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, in terms of just straight hype, there's Steve Mack and Magic. They're a tag team,
yes.
and they come out to Mo Money Mo Problems.
Yes.
And like that's my jam. Like I love that song so much. So whenever they come out, I'm like yes. Like whenever they're on a show, I'm so excited because I know I'm going to hear that song when they come out.
It's like when Matt Tremont comes out, Journey. You know, like that's in my head every single time. You know, that song is like in your head, like every day you listen to it, and then it plays on the radio. You're like, okay, here we go.
I mean, and obviously when Sandman comes out, that's
yes.
kind of like the best moment because you know exactly what's coming and it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, the Sandman. Yeah, how many times he's doused me with beer at shows? It's fun. I like count over the years, probably like 3 or about 5 times almost.
You'll notice whenever I'm on a show with Sandman that I'm on the opposite side of the room when he comes out because I don't want to get doused with beer.
Yeah, but I think actually this year I think I got on my birthday, which was cool. The last one of the shows I got on my birthday. I forget. But it was.
Well, that's nice. That's like an extra cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers to me, and I remember him drinking vodka at the show too. It was great. He had no beer in the house. It was like a local shitty promotion way back in the day, but you know, it's great.
Well, you know, he's nothing if not an improviser.
He's nothing now. He's nothing like his style now is you know, but we know. His weight has a factor nowadays. He looks like he's still sleeping in his pajamas, as I always say. You know, but, right? And
that's a good one. I've not heard that one.
What, sleeping in his pajamas? Well, if you look at all the pictures that like online, you'll see he's always in his pajamas.
Yeah, you get to a certain age, and I think you just kind of care more about comfort than anything else.
Yeah, at least wear some cool gear, cool pants. At least, you know, like didn't he come out to like Budweiser pants and like back in the heyday, you know?